Welcome to part 4 of Engrammatic Eclipse event. Now we know where this familiar fragments of lilac is coming from. It has accompanied us all the time and built the Oasis with us. Alas, only the soft fragrance of this lila flower remained. Part 12. Off by a hair. Memories cannot fit together when the puzzle of time has been jumbled for a long time. It is now Oasis command room. That's all I know. After that, Boss and I have been trying to repaint your memory. It was not until today that we found a way to restore it and came to you to piece it together. What the matter? You two? Why did your expression become solemn after listening to the story? Miss Sangoma and I have indeed met before. Yes, I didn't expect this relationship to be remembered by you for so long. That's great. If only he would be like you. You have held us so much secretly. I'm sorry. I apologize for using force against you before. It's okay. I just wanted to see him so much that I just slipped in without saying hello. I was wrong about that too. Sangoma, I also want to say sorry. No need to apologize. This is my own choice. The bottom line is what I have no better choice but to delete your memory. As for the cost of mental damage, I have long since accepted it. It was same choice that placed in front of me. I would still choose to save you without hesitation. Sangoma, I have one question to ask. How many times has this conversation has been repeated before? What? Sure enough, you still notice it. I closed my eyes and counted the bits and pieces of the past. That's right, including this time. There are 139 times in total. We have been forgetting her all over and over? But unfortunately, every acquaintance planned before this ended in failure. No matter what kind of encounters and introductions you create, you will soon forget me and become stranger again the next day. Even I feel tired when faced with repeated introductions again and again. I reached out to touch the memory fragment, turned around and meet his eyes. But for today? Can I pray for a miracle? The scent I has imagined countless times in my dreams finally became a reality. He stretched out his hand to me and said the long overdue invitation. Thank you for your continued effort on behalf of me and Oasis Sangoma. I want to ask you again. Are you willing to join the Oasis and stay with me? Tears slowly slid down her cheeks. The miracle that belongs to me finally came back to me today. Nostalgia is over. Being able to see you and restore your memory is the best reward for me. Sangoma wiped her eyes and turned to her usual smile. The most urgent task is to check the repair status of the memory fragment first. We looked at Persicalia, who was deep in thoughts in the center of the command room. I actually like it when they call it command room instead of operating room all the time. She took the initiative to take over the task of repairing the memory. From the beginning, she has been comparing the repairing my deduction memory within the fragments, trying to restore it using the Oasis and the brain science technology she has mastered. It went well first. As the fragments were gradually repaired, the pink-haired doll's hand gradually stopped typing on the keyboard, and she fell into a long thoughts about the data on the screen. What's wrong? Did you encounter any problems? That's it. After a repair, your missing memory has been basically made up, but those are still fragments that are problematic. How could it be? Are the memory fragments I brought here incomplete? Or is there a flaw in the repair technology? The pit-haired doll slowly shook her head to deny both statements. No. Miss Sangoma, the technology and fragments you brought are fine. Rather than me think, this memory should be more appropriate described as fallacy? Nani? Look here. The Sigala took half a step back and projected the current status of the memory fragments on the screen. We look in the direction she indicates, and the two sets of memory fragments that merged with each other were basically consistent, with only one point at the core showing a red warning. Fallacy? Do you mean there is an error in my memory here? There are several pieces of information that cannot be matched with the fragments brought by Miss Sangoma in the memory that the professor has recalled. They are out of control and outside of your memory fragment. Vesikala paused briefly and considered her words. It is like it was born out of thin air. Generated out of thin air? Memory is inherently a very ambiguous thing. Sometimes the brain stores non-existent fantasies as memories and believes them to be true. This situation is called false memories. The situation encountered by the professor is similar to this disease. Judging from the data, his brain seems to have constructed a memory that belongs to him, but not to you, Miss Sangoma. Vesikalia, can you specifically find out which area are inconsistent with those in the memory fragment? Although I could not locate it in such details, I found out the time to which some of the fallaciation memory belong. Vesikalia tapped her fingertips on the keyboard to mark the results of their investigation. On the screen, there was only a red dot, with time from which to began to spread out its branches, gradually evolving into a tree shape that touched the entire brain. The time when this red dot appeared, was it when I just uploaded it to Magrassi? I remember that I was chased by Centifiers in the Project Neural Cloud at the same time, and I was able to escape thanks to Sangoma's rescue. Sangoma, do you still remember this memory? Of course, since it was the first time we met, I still remember it fresh. However, it always felt a bit strange. In my memory, the time when I met you seems to be later than what is marked on the screen now. Indeed, I also have such a vague feeling. However, my vision model has not been restored at that time, so there was no way to confirm whether it was correct. Did the fallacy arise when I first came to Magrassi? As I keep thinking, A certain gas in my head gradually emerged and became clear. Oh, the dude that we met. Professor, what are you going to do next? Do you need me to continue analyzing the comparison fragments? No. In fact, I want to confirm for myself what kind of fallacy this memory is. Professor, what do you mean? Inform Crook and the others that I want to organize an exploration team to learn about the situation in the neurocloud sector. If we could go back to the place at that time, we might be able to analyze the error by investigating nearby data. During my absence, you has indeed grown a lot. Sangoma looked at me with a smile. To be honest, I came to the Oasis to find you for another purpose. Investigate the data in the uploaded device, right? The purple-haired doll raised her eyebrows slightly, unable to hide the surprise on her face. Huh? You have already guessed it? This memory already tells me the answer. You asked me to restore my memory first, and then explain the purpose. It is because this memory is closely related to the uploading device. It's really a familiar sensitivity. Yes, the Sentry does need this data, and this is also to be able to fight Oasis with the exiles later. Of course, this is also to help you find memory fallacies. This win-win cooperation is beneficial to both of us, right? Indeed, they are identical in purpose. Then, let's set off later. It looks like we are going to be acting together after a long time, Sangoma. Yes, I feel really nostalgic. Without further ado, let's share the available intelligence now. Sangoma summoned their communication and expertly connected it to the Oasis network, projecting a red-haired doll figure. Bonneville, can you hear me clearly over there? It's Sangoma, I can hear it from here. Oh, aren't you the Professor and Persicalia over there? You have already seen it. Yes. Are you near the neurocloud sector now? To be more precise, it should be the former neurocloud sector. After all, nothing is left. I'm currently investigating this place according to the boss order. The exploration of the surrounding area has been complicated, and the mission will be completed soon. But the situation is here. The red-haired doll took off her helmet, her expression unusually serious. You would be better seen for yourself. She turned the camera around so we can get a closer look. Uh-oh. The neurocloud sector in front of me is completely different from what I remember. Purple clouds and mist, simulating the unknown, are entrenched in the sky above the neurocloud sector. The blank space in the original sector has been completely stained and become disordered into weird shapes, and the data is destroyed. The redundant data that was changing back and forth seems to be struggling to escape, but in the end it was in vain, and the ruins were torn apart and infected by entropy. Damn entropics again, of course. The smell of danger continues to leak out, warning everyone who tries to approach it. Is this affected by the comprehensive entropy of Magra Sea? But even so, this degree of entropy. I also feel very abnormal. I will send you observed data. If you want to investigate in depth, you must be fully prepared. Understood. Thank you for your help, Bonneville. And please, pay attention to your safety. Aw, see you later. As she hangs up the communication, the expression on our faces in front of the screen began to become solemn. It seems that the situation in the neurocloud sector is more serious than expected, and it seems to be more than just entropy. Persicalia informed Croc that they are ready for battle. A fierce battle may be waiting for us. Wearing dragon, bygone fish. All that is needed for a stranger to become a comrade is for the two of you to be protecting the same person. Stage 3. Cloud sector. Everyone in the combat team, can you hear me? Pretty clean. Persicalia, how is the fight going between you and the professor? With your help, we are very close to the mission's goal. However, there's still a little trouble left to solve. Sorry, if only we could delay the fight a little longer. Thank you very much already. Don't force it after you have exhausted all operands. Just leave the rest of the entropy to me and Sangoma. Understood. Persicalia, you must come back safely. The pink-haired doll hangs up the communication and tightened the hand holding the sword a little harder. The noisy wind roars in my ears again. The scream of the sector were mixed in, venting their entropic's anger. The entropy in front of us seems to have hit its skull, emerging from the shadows and blocking our progress. Persicaria, this is not a little trouble, as you said. If we don't fight with all our strength, we will be the ones who fall soon, right? Everyone in the combat team has exhausted all their operands to escort here us. Sangoma, the rest can only be supported by the few of us. That's right. However, I have long been accustomed to fighting with less against many like this. By the way, I brought this for you. The purple-haired doll seems to have remembered something and took something out of the bag on her waist and handed it to my hand. Is it the sachet? Is this a side gun you gave me at the time? Oh my god, that's a gun. Well, I brought it with me in anticipation that you might need it. Very nostalgic, right? I also made special modification and the firepower should be stronger now. However, I still hope that you can use it to protect yourself and don't force yourself to join the battle. And this one, you should also keep it together. Sachet. That's right. Do you remember how to use the communicator inside? You are still the same as before, nagging about the professor's things when you meet him. Sangoma, you are some kind of new age mom? Huh? There's nothing wrong about with that, right? Oh my god. Oh, I can imagine this scene right now very clear. Sangoma summoned the giant scythe, lowered the brim of her head, and came to me and Persicaria. I haven't seen like this for a long time. Yeah, I will let you see more of my fighting prowess later. I have been to the Yuntu sector several times before I am familiar with the terrain here. Leave the task of opening the road to me. Okay, Yuntu sector. Which sector it might be? I have no idea. Although I feel a little reluctant to leave, Persicalia, I will leave the professor behind to you. Persicalia looked solemn, and after nodding in agreement, she summoned her weapon to guard the surroundings. Entropy. Watch your back. Don't worry, I notice. The puppet-haired doll jumped up nimbly, holding a giant sign in her hand to split the entropy that launched the sneak attack into two. Her fighting was different from what I remembered before. Both her technique and posture became more proficient than before. I have been working hard during this period of time when we have not seen each other, right? As if noticing my gaze, the purple-haired doll smiled dreamfully, waved a giant sigh, and rushed into the entropy's group to dance. The tentacles collided with the giant side and burst into flames. Seeing that she could not fight with the opponents, she turned sideways to avoid it, turned around, and then slashed the opponent's body with a knife. Persicaria, leave it to me. At some point, the pink-haired doll has silently arrived behind Entropy, and with a single slash, the monster turned into a calculus and disappeared into the thin air. Lower your head! Sangoma cooperatively covered her head and lowered the head. Also, head sounds familiar. At that moment, Persicaria slashed followed, cutting off Entropy's attempt to sneak attack Sangoma. What kind of tactic understanding is there? Professor, is it really the first time that those two people have met and cooperated? I was also surprised how well they clicked together. Ponyville, why don't you go up and show your skills? I will forget it. I don't want to be affected by those two fighting maniacs. Professor, have you found your goal? Well, I have found it. My eyes turned to the old facilities not far away. Professor, is that the terminal you used to upload to Magracy? Fortunately, it was not destroyed by entropics, but the effects of entropy around it were too severe, and I was unable to establish a connection with it from this location to check the situation. Sangoma, Persicaria. Understood. We'll bring the battle line closer. The entropics on the left are left to you, and the ones on the right are left to me. Miss Sangoma, is it okay? Really? I just told you to call me Sangoma. It's like I keep calling you Persicaria. That's a problem for you, Sangoma. Okay. The two leaned against each other with weapons in hand, thrusting each other's with their backs. Let's get rid of them quickly and return to the professor. Part 13. Mass doubles. They speak lines with utmost sincerity, and thus reality and fiction blends together in mystery. Finally, arrived. I looked the uploading device in front of me. It still maintained the appearance in my memory, unaffected by the entropy of the surroundings. Seeing that the entropy group was forced back, Sangoma and Persicaria also returned to my side while guarding the surroundings. I'm surprised it was not more heavily guarded, and I could bet that Oasis itself has probably built the base around this device and just wanna invade humanity, if I may so say so. I've heard of its existence from boss before, but this is the first time I've seen the real thing. Professor, Can this antenna, like this tin, still work? Although it's a bit worn, luckily, the basic functions are still there. I just scanned and checked, and I didn't detect the impact of sector entropy on it. Well, if, and I mean if, since Professor came to Macrosis through this device, maybe the dolls can also go to the real world through this device. I have thought about this before. Long time ago, I came to the neurocloud sector to investigate it, hoping to find hope and returning to the real world. Unfortunately, this device is one way. It can only receive data and has no way to transmit and locate signals. And basically activated the device and attempt to operate it. Insufficient permission. As you can see, with my permission I cannot access all the data. I can only operate on part of it. I have tried to call the data before, and the results are the same as basic areas. Don't tell me Oasis is the one who has all the allowance to operate this device. Only it's just that your situation is different from Persicalia. At that time, you did not have insufficient authority, but you could not be fully recognized because of your lack of mind. But if you now have the fragments of your mind intact, you may be able to use your authority to rewrite its program and obtain more data we need. May you try this again? I put my palm print on the machine and scanned it again. Oh, emission recognition passed. It seems to be consistent with my hypothesis. The next step is just... Huh? Is this machine stuck? The progress on the screen stopped and kept flashing, as if there was something wrong. Let me try to fix it. Wait a moment, Persicalia. Don't touch the upload device yet. What's the matter, Professor? How should I put it? I have always felt a sense of disobedience from the very beginning. Bonneville, when did you start investigating the neurocloud sector? Almost a month ago. Do you still have any video data from that time? Certainly. Bonneville sent me the data from the neurocloud sector a month ago, and I compared it with the sent in front of me scene. Other places are more eroded to varying degrees than before, except for the uploading device and its surroundings, which remains in the same state as before. Indeed, Professor and I just noticed, when you say this, that the degree of entropy in this area is very low. Except for the traces left by the previous battle, there are basically no other traces of damage due to entropy. This is too abnormal. Whether it's that, despite being surrounded by entropy, the degree of entropy is so light, or the degree of entropy has not shown any signs of increasing over the past month. Persicalia, have you heard before that the upload device had the function to resist entropy erosion? No, not far as I know. If it were not for the uploading device itself. The only answer is, someone ordered them not to invade this place. I swore us. An ominous premonition suddenly came to my mind. Everyone, retreat, quickly! As if the hunter has noticed the struggle of his prey and tightened the rope on the trap, smoke suddenly filled the surrounding area, obscuring all sight. careful not to inhale it. Cover your mouth and nose. Everyone, come close. Or is this the spider high-order entropics? I grabbed Persicalia's hand and prepared to retreat, but I vaguely saw a familiar figure appearing behind the fog. Danger! The gunfire rang out, and before I had time to react, Persicalia has already stopped in front of me and blocked the bullet for me. Operance flowed out from her right shoulder, and the hand holding the giant sword dropped weakly. Persicalia! Persicalia, are you okay? It's okay. Just a few inches. Professor, be careful. What? I turned around and drew my pistol and pointed at the other person. But behind the smoke, there was a familiar face. It's not Entropic. Another me? The other person didn't answer my question. He just wilted his face into a charming smile. The next second, Persicalia finished reading her wounds, swung her knife close, and quickly chopped the other me in half. Persicalia, what's going on? Is this guy my clone? They're indeed close to them. I didn't expect to encounter them here. Professor, you have to be careful about attacks from those entropic data. Entropy data? Do you mean the other me that just appeared? Yes. What? She motioned for me to look at the body just now. The original eye has disappeared, and only a small amount of entropic liquid remained in place to prove that what I just saw was not an illusion. Let it run away. Professor, that should be a replication virus that can read the content in the data and copy the appearance and even personality of others. There's no way we will deal with shapeshifters. I don't like this. It seems that we have stepped into a well-designed trap. I'm afraid they will take advantage of the fog to attack after a while. Professor, stay close to me and don't stay far away. I'm afraid that something will happen to Sangoma. She just met us. It's like perfect scenario to say goodbye. We don't do this, please. Please, by the love of whatever exists in Magrasia. Before she could finish speaking, the surrounding thick smoke seems to surround us consciously, followed by the sound of wind and the feeling of figures flashing by. I stretched out my hand in the direction of Persicalia, but there was nothing where she used to be. Persicalia! Don't come here! Persicalia, where are you? The fog soon caused us to lose track of each other, and we could only vaguely hear the sound of weapons clashing. Professor, are you okay? A familiar voice sounded from the other side. I turned around and saw Sangoma running towards me. Sangoma, how did you find me? Seeing that I deliberately keep my distance, Sangoma was slightly startled. It is good to be cautious, but there will be entropy emerging from the fog at any time. Now is not the time to be willful. Don't move. I used my gun to stop her from getting closer again. Answer my question, Sangoma. Don't come near me until then. Are you talking about how I found you? The purple-haired doll pointed to the sachet I got from her earlier. Have you forgotten? Sachet. I didn't expect it to come so handy so quickly. We're playing right now Among Us. Entropic data can only imitate appearance and abilities. I, with my memory, be able to make you let your guard down, right? I didn't expect you would point the gun at me so soon. I put down the gun, but still maintain a certain level of caution. Are you okay? Not injured? Well, it's no big deal. Sangoma, we just got separated from Persicaria. Although her signal is still on the recorder, I'm worried about her condition. Can you please go with me to find her? By the way, I have a slight feeling that Bonnie Will is actually a will in this situation, and the fourth one. Sangoma? Shh, keep quiet. There are insects coming this way. Before I could react, the giant side attack has arrived, and Sangoma jumped back to avoid it. The owner of the weapon did not choose to pursue me. While forcing their opponents back, he came in front of me to protect me. Stay away from him, faker! Another Sangoma. Sorry, I'm late. She is literally another Sangoma. Oh my god. Ah. What a mess. I don't like shapeshifters. Oh my god. It just makes my brain fry. Paradoxical void. Unreal shadows cloud vision, and memories automatically fall into peace. Reality is but a step away. Stage 4. Persicaria and Sangoma. Sorry I'm late. Another Sangoma with question mark. Is this the third one? The purple-haired doll picked up the giant side and pointed at the face that looked exactly like her own. Although I don't know where you got the data from, it's really disgusting to pretend to be me. Camouflage. It isn't what you are doing. Sangoma, who was originally beside me, also took out her weapon and was alone to their existence in front of her. What is your purpose of approaching him secretly, disguised as me? Oh no, I don't like it. Before she can finish speaking, the two giant sides were already intersecting in the air, refusing to give way to each other. Sangoma? They ignored my shouts and continued to fight. The two of them, like mirror images, attacked each other, but were quickly defeated by the other party using the same moves. In that case, try this trick. One of the Sangomas gonna win, right? One of the Sangomas jumped up using the tail end of the giant side as a fulcrum and kicked the other person's defensive side sideways, slamming the opponent back. When the opponent lost her center of gravity due to the kick and fell, she followed up with a sweep and tried to hit the target, but in the end the opponents rolled to avoid it and could only chop off a few strands of purple hair. I don't know who Sangoma winning. Before the attacking party could react, the other party responded with the same attack. After a fierce battle, no one gained the upper hand. Seeing that the competition of skills was of no avail, the two sides focused on the content of the conversation. So it's us. The two weapons competed with each other with the blessing of opponent's power, and spark burst out from time to time. You are really difficult to deal with. No, you are the one who's in trouble, the fake. But no, it is not the time to fight with you. We must return to him as soon as possible. Indeed, I don't want to waste time with you. What is the goal even of this shadow monsters? Entropics. However, when they turned around to look at me, they found that their thick fog had already covered my figure. Professor! Professor, answer me if you're still safe! The only answer to their call was the quiet sound of the wind. I understand. You want to identify who is the real Sangoma in this way. If this is the real Sangoma, I should be able to find you. She faced the direction where the scent of lilac came from, her eyes firm. Since I can find you the first time, I can also find you countless times. I believe you can make the right decision. Professor, do you remember what I once said to you? However, I'm still very happy that you extended the invitation to me. I have been looking forward to today since the first time I came to the Oasis. Although I cannot promise you, I have already made the corresponding awareness. If one day I go against your path and stand in the way of you and everyone in the Oasis, until then, please. What if one day I go against your path and stand in the way of you and everyone in the Oasis? At that time, please don't hesitate to pull the trigger on me. This was the agreement I made with you. And now it is the time to fulfill it. She suddenly swung her giant scythe and struck at her other self, who was already prepared to fight back. The two weapons suppressed each other and fell into a stalemate for a while. I have long been aware of this. Shoot! Control her while I can. Shoot her quickly while I have her under control. Did I just give you the weapon? Don't hesitate. Get rid of her quickly. Oh my god, Professor, please. You have literally 50-50 chance here. Maybe more. Even though they were both calling my name, they were facing completely different directions. Ah, yes. It's time for closure. The crisp sound of loading replaced my answer, and I pointing the black muzzle at one of them. This is a choice I made. Which one? The left one? She fell down and could not understand what was happening in front of her until the end. She slowly collapses to the ground, holding the wound that was leaking entropic liquid. It seems that my inference is correct. No, I am the real Sangoma. Now that the matter is over, there is no need to act anymore. I look at the dying artifact. It has completely lost its ability to move. Indeed, your disguise is perfect. Exactly like the Sangoma I know. But it's only here in memory. I walk toward the direction where the fake Sangoma had called my name and picked up the thing I had put there not long ago. Sachet? To be precise, it is the sachet containing only herbs. That's what told me the truth. This scent, is it lilac? Ah yes, it's lilac. I didn't expect you to still remember. It's been so long that I almost forgot what it tasted like. Sangoma, I also want to say sorry. No need to apologize. This is my own choice. The bottom line is that I have no better choice but to delete your memory. As for the cost of mental damage, I have long since accepted it. If the same choice was placed in front of me, I would still choose to save you without hesitation. If my guess is correct, the data copied by entropy should have come from the memory fragments of my past, right? Otherwise, this trap will not be activated after recognizing my mission. What I didn't know in the past, but what I know now, is the consequence of irreversible damage to your mind after Sangoma sacrificed her life to save me. I didn't expect that you would notice it. Well, although you have not stated it directly, you, who should be sensitive to aromas, no longer have a direct reaction to aromas. Sure enough, it was because that accident caused you to lose your sense of smell. Therefore, the fake Sangoma will still identify my location based on the scent as before, while the real Sangoma has a communicator that only the two of us have and can locate my real location. Unexpectedly, the reason for exposure is here. The body of the false Sangoma gradually become exhausted and gradually return to its original state of entropic liquid. It's over. The real Sangoma walked quickly to my side and dealt with the entropics data. After the core was shattered, the originally fixed combination of entropic liquid lost its shape and resistance and gradually dissipated into the air within the wind. If you lose your sense of smell, you won't be able to be a herbalist anymore, right? Sorry, Sangoma. The mud is in the Kiansen. I'm not sure what this means, if there's a localization error. Sangoma squeezed my cheek hard and stopped me from saying anything else. You just disappeared so quietly. Do you know how worried I am? Mists are dangerous, and even if your plan is successful now, what if you just encountered other entropy and didn't have my protection? That's why I did do the investigation in advance. I did this after going the investigation in advance. It's not even possible to investigate in advance. You can no longer gamble with your own safety. Oh god. No, I don't agree. Sorry, Mom. When the purple-haired doll saw me nodding, she relaxed my cheeks and held my hand instead. I rubbed my aging face and looked down at the tightly intertwined hands, as if she was afraid that I would disappear again. However, I'm actually prepared to encounter danger. I believe that even in that situation, as long as I can call your name, you will definitely be able to help me out of danger. After all, even if you are paid such a huge price. I clenched the sachet in my hand, and Sangoma gently covered my hand with her other hand. It doesn't matter. I said, I have never regretted this choice. And since you recognize the real me through past pain, she gently touched the wounds she has left to protect me in the past, with a faint smile on her face. It seemed that the choice at that time was correct. Even this pain can become a link between me and you. Sangoma, I have a proposal. Regarding mental damage. Angelina has done relevant research. After we return to the Oasis, we may be able to ask her to examine it and help you with the treatment. Yeah, we do return to the Oasis all together. No one will be left behind, right? Right? Although there's no guarantee that it will be intact as before, treatment should help you regain your sense of smell and body. In this way, you can also return to your job and continue to study the herbal medicines you love. Really? It's really an attractive proposal. However, let me refuse. The purple-haired doll smiled. After all, I don't want to give up my connections with you to others. Sangoma? As the entropy's information stopped moving, the surrounding fog finally dispersed and returned to its original appearance. Not far away, Bonneville was slowly walking towards us, supporting Persicaria. Persicaria, Bonneville? Are the two of you hurt? It's pretty safe. With the fog shrouded just now, some entropy planned to take advantage of the chaos to make sneak attack. Fortunately, I met Persicaria, otherwise it would be dangerous for me to be alone. Professor, what's going on with the entropy program? Does it have? Hey, rather than worrying about the professor, you should worry about your own physical condition first. You used too much operance to protect me just now. You should have a good rest now. But the entropy that replicates others people looks... You don't have to worry about this. Sangoma and I have solved this just now. I explained the whole thing to the two of them, and after confirming that it was safe, I handed Persicaria to Sangoma's for treatment. Bonneville, can I trouble you with something? You want me to leave a message? No problem, leave it to me. Please, Bonneville. After repeatedly confirming that the coordinates were correct, the red-haired figure immediately got on the motorcycle and drove away. Persicaria, Sangoma, can you two come over here? I want to confirm something. I called up the image I just recorded on the terminal. Although the situation just now was quite urgent, I still found the opportunity to take a picture of the replica, which was also the source of my sense of dissonance. Persicaria, you said before this entropy program will transform into another person's appearance based on the memory of the target, right? So, is the criterion for copying priority based on the impression in memory? Yes. However, there's a deviation between the memory and the original body. Although it cannot achieve a 100% copy, it will continue to imitate until the error is completely corrected. Really? That would explain it. Take a closer look at the replica's eyes. Hey, it was too fast. Strange. Why is this guy's eyes color different from mine? I did not notice it. Really? Normally, a replica should not make such a mistake. Unless... Well, unless this is the eye color of Sangoma in my memory. Wait, why did you... Don't tell me you are blind! Huh? If I guess correctly, the answer should be waiting for us at the upload device. But wait, what? We return to the uploading device again. Next to it, a pool of entropy's liquid was squirming and changing shapes. And in the entropy's liquid, a tiny ray of golden luster can be vaguely seen. Analysis completed. Are those the professor's memory fragments? It's exactly what I thought. Whether it's the paradox of memory, the missing fragment, or the attack on the Oasis, they were all manipulated by him behind the scenes. Here. As if aware of our arrival, the entropic liquid finally found its own shape, gradually changing into a familiar outline. Pasikal and Sangoma drew their weapons in unison. Later, after their blackness faded, we all recognized the owner of those eyes. Eyes for us. What? But why is she shape-shifting? Oh, he can do shape-shifts. He did shape-shift into... Oh my god, we actually found this stupid thing. Oh my god, sure he can shape-shift. He also did shape-shift into EOS. No. No, I attacked first. Stop. We won. Okay. Part 14. Lightless Daybreak. Slay the shadows of the past and shed light upon the silence. Iceforos. I didn't expect it to be him. When did he begin to slip into Professor's memory? I'm afraid from a long time ago. When we were recovering EOS? Sangoma on the side was silent, seeming to be thinking about something. The memory fragment I just obtained began to shine, and slowly began to correct the contradictions in my memories. Who are you? Is this a human being, an angel, or a god himself? Now the question makes a lot of sense. And with God himself, by the way, I did try it offline to see what it is, and he's very angry when I pick the God himself. The missing answers were already swallowed up by the nothingness. What did I answer that time? I am? I am? Professor, come to me quickly. Unknowingly, the fog that had just dissipated reappeared to trap us, and its shape continues to change with the flow of the wind, gradually switching to the appearance of others in my memory. When the wind finally stops, the clones of the original exile squad appeared before us, and the leader of the center in the mastermind behind all of this. Iceforos, with a question mark. Iceforos. Although he looked at us, there was nothing in his pupils. A strong sense of oppression approaches us as he slowly moved forward. Prepared for that? You are not him. I looked him straight in the eyes and tightened my grip of the gun in my hands. You're nothing but a fake in appearance. Your core has been destroyed just now. Whatever it is appearance or ability, the you in front of me is less than 1/10 of the real Oasis. That's okay too. Their disparity is military strength is more than enough to deal with you. Is there a huge disparity in military strength? I don't think so. I think we brought whole Oasis with us. It says. The roar of artillery bombardment instantly descended on the battlefield, knocking their unsuspecting clone behind, chancing back into the form of entropic liquid. The effect is not as good as expected. After all, the distance is too far, and it's already great to be like this. Croc, Seymour, why are you here? It's Bonnebear's contact. After receiving the coordinates she brought, we, who were originally on standby, quickly came over. However, we are not the only one. People coming together. Oh, we brought the whole squad. I didn't expect the commotion to be so big. Replicants? Wow, that's really disgusting. It was indeed the right decision to come along. Sir, please give me your orders. Aki and Taurisi, you came just in time. The four of them came to us and got into a fighting scene. During this period, the entropy group that has just been disturbed by the artillery also returned to its original formation. They transformed into the appearances of exiles according to the data in my memory, with their eyes filled with anger. That's it! The original combat team of the first generation exile squad is here. Next, it is time to crack down on piracy. Is it okay, Professor? Oh, there's one of the original team is missing. The other party is you in my memory, so be careful. Don't worry, Professor. We are not there. We have then. That's right. It's just a good time to give him a try to see my groan during the period. Be careful, the entropy's attacks is coming. Everyone, I will leave the clones to you individually. Understood. The battle was about to break out, and the two people with the same appearance quickly fought together and divided the battlefield, leaving only two people standing in front of us. Sol. Yeah, it's been such a long time, Persicalia. The familiar voice made Persicalia startled, as if time was stuck on the afternoon when the two met. Although Persicalia's hands was attached to the long knife, she still did not pull it out. Persicalia, that's not the real Sol. Just an illusion created by my memory. I know. The pink-haired doll seems to have made up her mind and drew the sword to protect me behind. Leave this to me, and I will end the battle and return to you soon. Until then, Sangoma, can I leave the task of holding Oasis back to you? The bright surface of the sword reflects a determined look on Persicaria's face. The purple-haired doll stared for a moment, sighed, and then moved the giant side behind her. Alright. Although I don't know how far I can go, I will accept your willful request for now. Remember to owe me a favor. Do not overestimate your capabilities. How will you know if you don't try? She raised the giant's side and pointed it directly at the fake thing in front of her, slowly licking the blood that overflowed from the corner of her mouth. Besides, I still have a grudge against you, so don't expect me to show you mercy. Persikaria. Professor, please also deal with Oasis with Sangoma. I can handle the things here alone. Please rest assured that I will definitely come back to you. I see. Sangoma, let's go. Good. I patted Persikaria on the shoulder and walked away with Sangoma, leaving the two most familiar people facing each other over there. On the one side of the battlefield, the battle situation of the combat team was still anxious. Although I looked cool in front of the professor, after all, my opponent was my other self, so it was still a bit tricky. If there's more opponents, at least she could be more calm than she is now. The great-haired doll was able to pilot the mecha and dodge the cannon fire and counterattack, but was soon retaliated by the opponents with the same move. Oh, it's really difficult. What would the mecha for use? Hello? Before she could complain, Rock's beloved mecha was stepped on by Simo and jumped up. 3 fast arrows pierced the sky and headed towards the opponent's vital points. But Simo didn't succeed. The opponent fired 3 arrows with the same path of technique to counterattack his own attack. As 4 arrows collided and fell in the air, this surprise attack still ended in failure. Don't you succeed? You have to find the footprints on it when you go back. Those guys are more difficult to deal with that I expected. With a burst of sword fighting, Aki, who was shaken away by the force, straightened his figure and looked at the other self in front of him again. I didn't expect to know how to do this. Professor, he usually observed our battles very carefully. There's no way. After all, Professor is the one who watched us fighting and grow up. Alas, at this time, I don't know whether I should be happy or sad. Taurisi, how is the fighting going on your side? The man who was named put away the throwing knife in her hand and froze slightly. It's a little trickier, but it's still manageable. As soon as she finished speaking, the mate in front of her had switched her mental projection to another appearance. Whoa, you're not supposed to do this. After all, I'm no longer the same person I should. Oh, okay, this is also Taurisi. Yes, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. After all, I'm no longer the same person I used to be. Oh, Centaurus is so cunning. I also want to be able to transform during battle or something like this. That's right. The mental projection in the battlefield is so cool. Aki, have you seen it? Centaurus must have been snickering just now. You are definitely laughing. Very good. After I return to the others, I will also search for any special memories. It must be the kind that makes me stronger. That? Now is not the time to dwell on this. Simo picked up the bow and arrow again to warn the other self in front of him. What should we do now? To avoid a stalemate? Perhaps now we should swap opponents and leave our other selves to someone else to handle. What do you two think? Rook and Aki looked at each other with a wicked smile on their lips. That this would be easier, I refuse this approach. Oh, look at this music. Wait, let me amplify the music. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go, battle music. Aki, the past self will be surpassed by the present self. It's time to cut off the phantoms of the past. Really? I knew you would say that. After all, that's what I thought too. Simo clenches his weapon and showed the same expression as the two of them. It is time for us, who have been protected by our professor, to prove our grown. The determined people started fighting again, and the smoke of gunpowder once again filled the battlefield. On the other side, two identical long swords collided in the air and quickly bounced away from each other. Although the attack just now did not give any party an advantage, one of the owners of the long sword had a smile on his face, while the other had solemn look on her face. Oh, not bad. I generally don't like using this trick earlier. Basically, where did you even learn that? Why have you been silent? It is rare that we have not seen each other for such a long time. Why not just catch up on old times? The pink-haired doll slowly shook her head and did not take the other's personal words. You are no longer here, Sol. What I see in front of me is just a phantom created by the professor's memory, and my mission is to defeat you and get back to the professor as soon as possible. Well, what you said is really merciless. But this is what I admire about you. Huh? Before Persicalia could react, the sharp sword struck against her, leaving her no room to think about those words. Sangoma barely stood upright, relying on the support of the giant's side. Although she was still standing, her scared body no longer has the strength to continue fighting. You do have some strength to be able to fight with me until now. But now it's time to step aside. With the way of the Oasis, the hurricane set off by... I'm not sure who is the Shushu here they're referring to. Struck and easily drove Sangoma away like a piece of paper. Sangoma! You should worry about yourself before others. The attack from Oasis strikes again. Although it was just a casual threat, I was still slightly injured after barely escaping. The red operance slowly flowed down and dyed my vision red. The mastermind behind the scene turned around, and the golden pleasure emanating from his pupils seems to crush me. You always surprise me time and time again. But this time it's different. The last piece of the puzzle has been put together, and you are no longer useful. You will meet your eternal end alone. No, I won't let you do that. 2 figures? The double slashes coming from their side forces Oasis back. The smoke dissipated, and the 2 people who had just left appeared in front of me again. Sorry, Professor, I'm a little late. Oh, it's fine. Pesicalia, did you say goodbye to her properly? In the end, this trick just now didn't have the effect. It seems you have become a worthy owner of that knife, Persicalia. Because I have been looking at you well, no matter in the past or now. This is the same for me. I'm just that I'm no longer familiar with you now. Let's do it. I accept this determination. The appearance was condensed, and the bright orange flame burned at the tip of the knife, dispelling the surrounding darkness, like the scorching sun. Without any hesitation, Persicalia followed the sweeping sword light and came behind Sol. When the sword was shattered, the clone's core has been cut off and teared into the pieces, disappearing into the air. What a beautiful move! Persicalia did not answer, but lowered her eyes and looked at Sol, who fell on the ground in silence. The phantom in front of her stretched out her hand to touch her, but finally closed her eyes and smiled, retracted her fingertips, and made a thumbs-up gesture. Well done, Persicalia. You are really a perfect copy. Even those troublesome parts have been copied. But the sound of wind drowned out Persicalia's words. But lying on the ground, she obviously understood the shape of the lips and smiled brightly. Definitely. The orange figure drifted away in the wind and disappeared into the sunset. This time, I can say goodbye to her properly. Really? That's good. Well... Sangoma, how are you doing? Oh, this old body is really helpless. It seems that my old bones can no longer support it. Now I can only do auxiliary combat, and can no longer compete with him head-on. I will leave it to you, Persicalia. No problem. Leave the main attack task to me. The long knife, condensed with calculations, once again appeared in Persicalia's hands. This time, I won't let him take anything away from me. Professor, please, give the order. I see. Is the small talk over? Our words were interrupted by the sudden attack. The 2 of them worked together to smash the falling stardust from the sky, and took advantage of the smoke to take me away to the safe area. The next second, the giant scythe swung by Sangoma in front was blocked by Oasis with the sword in his hand. While the fire was flying, Vesicula's slash from the side was also blocked by the opponent's shield, opened by Oasis. Is this all you have? It is a bad habit to look down on others. The two whose attacks were blocked were not discouraged and continued to approach with intensive attacks, not giving Oasis a chance to distance himself and release the meteor attack. A meteor attack. As they approached Oasis, their position unknowingly changed. Vesicula fought with Oasis from the front, while Sangoma used a side blade to pierce the shield from the side, and that cut it open with force. When Oasis opened their second layer of shield for supplementary defense, the two switched to attacking with fists and kicks, knocking it away with one punch and one kick. The repelled man, his white gently brushed off the dust of his sleeves, without a trace of pity in his eyes. Do you want to use this method to consume my opponents? A good idea, but ultimately a futile attack. The two looked at each other and at the same time held the weapon in their hands backwards. What? Before he could react, the two threw their weapons at Oasis, taking advantage of Oasis' opening of the shield to resist. Vesicula and Sangoma simultaneously grabbed each other's, exchanged weapons, and launched slashes. The next second, dark red operants splashed in the air. When he stepped back to steady himself, the two of them had thrown their weapons back to each other. It feels good to use a sword once in a while. The sight is heavier than I thought, but the power of the slash cannot be underestimated. That fake thing over there is no longer a fatal attack now, right? Now that things have happened, why do you still choose to struggle? Silly question. Yes, you would not act so much if you were real. As if being stimulated, Oasis summoned meteors all over the sky to attack the two of them. Vesicula and Sangoma kept dodging slashes among the meteorites. Although they tried their best to resist, the two of them has obviously exhausted their opponents after the fight. I haven't moved my muscles for this a long time. Can you still hold on? This kind of battle is a bit too exciting for an old model like me. How can there be an old model that can fight like you? I didn't expect you to have the leisure to complaints. Sangoma, I still have many questions to ask you. Whether it's about the professor or about you, I want to know them all. Really? Okay, I promise you. Did you almost use up all your opponents in attacking the opponents just now? No matter what, the next blow would determine the outcome. The two of them stopped talking. At the same time, they used opponents to pick up their weapons and slashed at Oasis. I won't fall for the same trick again. The opponents increased, and the shield symbolizing despair was deployed against to prevent the two attacks one by one. At this moment, a tiny crack sound broke the peace of the battlefield. Before Oasis could react, a corner of the shield was damaged and fell off under the attack. One more time. Good. Continuous attacks hit the damaged part of the shield. Under the heavy pressure, the opponent's shield that was attacked completely shattered, but Oasis blocked the combined attack of the two at the cost of having his arms penetrated. Have you spent all your remaining opponents on attacks? It is a pity that those words are not enough to defeat me. The two did not give up because of those words, but instead clenched their weapons in their hands harder. We didn't expect the attack just to cause damage from the beginning. What we did was just create a gap to force you here. And I bet Croc is right now launching an attack. Professor! Oh, Professor. Huh? Oasis subconsciously looked towards the blind spot of his vision, but in the end, it was a step too late. The bullets fired from the gun accurately hit its core, causing crack and creating a momentary gap. Go, Persicalia! Slash! The sword slashed, and Oasis' core shattered under Persicalia's attack. The form of Oasis continued to collapse, turning into purple liquid and returning to the earth. Only a pair of eyes remains. The golden pupils are violent and cold, looking at us and making foolish ridicule until the last fire of life extinguished. Part 15. Displaced Synchrony. As you return your displaced emotions to their rightful place, the wheel of destiny begins to turn and the truth is gradually revealed. As the entropy of Oasis' form was defeated, the smoke-filled battlefield returned to tranquility. On the other side of the battlefield, everyone in the combat seems to have solved their own battles among at the same time. Everyone, thank you for your own hard work. It was indeed hard work. I never want to find another me again. Absolutely not. Second end. Anyway, it's finally come to an end. I just made contact with the professor and the battle over there is over. Now that the danger has been completely eliminated, everyone can feel at ease. Oh, I'm almost exhausted after playing for so long. I was so tired that I could not feel my legs. Next, I will prepare some tea and snacks for everyone, and then go and meet the professor after he is resting. Okay. Let's check with Anna how to make sure she's safe. She even specially asked the small entropy to follow us. She simply cannot worry about us. Eh? Where did that little entropy... Not? No. Everyone is safe. To the little guy, nothing will happen. Where did that little entropy go? Professor? Persicalia, how are you and Sangomir's injuries going? Little Sangoma, the treatment methods taught by Sangoma are very useful, and I have recovered a lot after the treatment. Professor, you have been investigating the uploading device for a long time. Is there anything you are concerned about? Hey, are you looking at its startup records? The purple-haired doll came behind us at some point, observing the data displayed on the screen with an interest. After noticing the presence of Oasis mixed into my memories, I had a new idea about the interpretation of those paradoxical memories. Sangoma, can I ask you a question? I close my eyes and try to recall in my mind the question I was asked. Who are you? Are you born into this world as a human being, an angel, or God himself? Sangoma, in my memory you asked me this question. Do you still have an impression of it? The purple-haired doll raised her chin and thought, then slowly shook her head. I have no impression at all. Are you sure? This is the question I ask? Sure enough, the voice I heard at the time was not from you. Sound? What sound? When I was first uploaded to the NeuroCloud sector, the various sensory modules has not been activated yet. In the darkness, I hear someone ask me this question. I always thought that the questioner was you or some kind of hallucination, but now it seems that I got the situation wrong. I did not thought that it's her question. I thought this is a real professor's question, like the actual professor. There's a saying that God is created by fate. In other words, God could be anyone. It should be said that anyone can become a god, although this is just my narrow point of view. Now is not the time to get to know me. Your sensory system is not fully activated yet, and contact me now will cause many unnecessary problems. That means... Quiet. There are insects coming this way. Now that I think about it, that question really has style of Oasis. At the time, the so-called worm in Oasis month should not be referring to the lower identifiers, but you, Sangoma. He disguised his presence as a low-level identifier to confuse the public. In other words, when I took you away from the surrounding identifier, was he silently observing us from somewhere? Yes, it is precisely because of this that even after that, he was able to pretend to be you and get close to me. Unexpectedly, my deliberate attempt to hide my identity allowed him to take advantage of it. Do you still remember what Oasis pretended to be? And what I said to you? There were 3 encounters that left a deep impression on me. The first time was when I was investigating the surrounding environment outside the Oasis. Don't tell me that some of those Sangomas that we meet had a different eye color. I would have never guessed it. Okay, this is the bad Sangoma. Have you considered establishing diplomatic relationship with other sectors? Indeed, I have considered such a plan, but the current Oasis still lacks combat power. Rushing to communicate with other sectors may bring many unnecessary risks. You must be cautious before taking actions. Or on the other hand, I don't know whether it is right to interfere with the lives of the dangerous people here. It would be best if the status quo of peace can be maintained. Yeah. But in fact, Malgracia has already entered an abnormality and is far away from peace. He proposed that I contact and establish diplomatic relationship with other sectors, but I refused. Combined with the subsequent guidance given to us by Oasis, it seems that you want to use us to open as many sandbox barriers in other sectors as possible to facilitate the subsequential invasion of entropy. I think so too. The second contact was when searching for supplies near the Paradise sector. He always chose to contact me when I am in the field. He must be worried that if he enters the Oasis, the signature code will reveal his flaws. Hey, now that you are here, why don't you go there and take a look? Paradise sector. I didn't expect to run so close to it. There should be a lot of operation resources stored in Paria, which can solve the urgent needs of the Oasis. I think that since I cannot figure out the Sanctifier's movements for the time being, it's time to make a new attempt. Yeah, different eye color. Shall we go and see it together? If you encounter danger, I will cover your retreat. Obtaining resources from the other sectors is indeed an idea. However, let's forget about this for the time being. This time, the field team found a new resource point, which was enough to supply supplies for a period of time. Moreover, I also want to rendezvous with Saul as soon as possible and go back to find out the research of the abnormal movement of the Sanctifiers. Alright, but I think that if we want to establish communication with other sectors in the future, it should be a good choice. Oh no. This was sus, because I know the Paradise sector, like that's locations. Paradise. Paradise sector is the sus one. The Paradise sector became a nest of entropies after that, and Giri and Odette also became victims. It seemed that, as early as this time, Oasis had already set its sight on the Paradise sector and wanted us to use it as a test field for entropy. Oasis specially chose the attack of the lower Sanctifier to guide your actions. But you still didn't fall for it, so Oasis decided to use half measures. Yes, so he designed the Sanctifier's attack on the Oasis. For that attack, he pretended to be Sangoma and discussed with me the defense of the Oasis and the construction of the sandbox barrier. That was my third contact with the Sangoma he pretended to be. That's why the Sanctifiers were able to target our headquarters and core buildings so accurately, because the command behind that attack was Oasis. I'm afraid that's it. Although we have possibly activated the core system of the Oasis, thereby defeating the attack, he also modified the plan and took advantage of the chaos to take away some of my memory fragments and buried them in the entropy program here. So that's it. After knowing that the mastermind behind the secret was Oasis, many mysteries were solved. Thanks goodness. No, there's one more mystery that remains to be solved. I obtained the upload device and showed Persicalia and Sangoma the content retrieved on the screen. About the entire piece of information is an access record that has been deleted. This is the operation record that I retrieved with full permission after repairing the memory. Before that, it has been deliberately hidden and deleted, and could not be found through normal search methods. Please pay attention to this time. Did Oasis already uploaded himself to reality? 2062. Yet, it is much earlier than the year 2063 that I uploaded to the NeuroCloud sector. In other words, someone has tried to launch the uploader before me. Basically, does this signature look familiar to you? Oasis. Yes, this is the same fake signature he used before. The purple-haired doll looked around and suddenly understood something. I see. No wonder Oasis noticed you uploading it here before me. It turned out to be because he had been monitoring the movements of this uploading device. That's why he was able to carefully plan the series of events that followed. It seems that he was well prepared. However, it was more than simply monitoring movements. As I continued to operate, more and more deleted operations records appeared on the screen. They are numerous and chronologically disordered, but without exceptions, the results of those operations end in failure. I didn't accept that he has done so many times. What was that guy obsessed with? Operation failed. Basically, seems to have thought of something, widening her eyes and trying to confirm it to me. Professor, could it be that he's trying to upload into the real world? Well, just like you thought. His purpose is to go to the real world. Oh, this is so cool. Oh my god. It is actually, I don't know if you know, but it reminds myself on one of the extra, well, I will not badmouth Sword Art Online, but I found the, I don't know which season it is, the similar situation season in this story here with NeuroCloud. The answer is correct. A strange, high-pitched voice suddenly blocked into our conversation. We subconsciously clenched our weapons, only to find that the sound came from the soles of our feet. Don't be nervous, I'm here. Small entropy? When? The small entropy waved its tentacles and saluted us. To be precise, I only temporarily control the body of small entropy to talk to you. Okay, if small entropy was always the Oasis, I would flip out. You have done a good job. So you have qualified to talk to me. Feel honored. However, for a more in-depth conversation, I still have to come over to Tartarus. After all, you should be familiar with it, right, Professor? Through the eyes of the small entropy, I recognized a small figure that I knew well but had never seen before. Maiga. I think this is the Entropic's head. Part 16. Twin stars twinkling. They knew each other's pulse and each other's presence. The two stars each traveled their own course, forever orbiting their shared center of mass. Everything is settled for now. Late at night, the purple-haired doll came to the Oasis headquarters again. Hasn't he come back yet? Just wait here for a little longer. A lot of things really happened in the past 2 days. If I were just sitting here alone, it would be just like in the past. There would be an illusion that nothing has changed. Sangoma turned off the light and lay by the window looking at the thousands of lights in the Oasis. At this moment, the communication bell rang at the right time. It's boss. Did you see the message I sent before? Yes. This mission is not easy, right? Thanks a lot. But it's not like you to be awake so late. After all, an old woman like me is used to nostalgia. I have stayed in the asylum for a long time, and suddenly switching to the Oasis will take some getting used to. In addition, there are many unexpected situations that occur in the neurocloud sector, so I want to get in touch with you as soon as I return to the Oasis. Boss, have you also received the detailed reports of the neurocloud sector? Well, Bonnie will send them. Among the Guardians, she is probably the only doll who can travel back and forth to the neurocloud sector in a half a day. This is the first time I have received such a detailed report from her. Sangoma, have you gone too far in polishing it for her? It turned out what it is now without realizing it. Next time, I will let her write her own part independently. She deliberately did not respond to the side of the other side on the screen, steering the topic to a direction she cares more about. Then, have you also received the backup information of the uploaded device? Yes, Bowen will handle it over to me without even noticing anything. You are also big-hearted. Aren't you afraid of she will find out that the information contains contact records with the real world? I believe she's a good child who will not look through things casually. Moreover, did I use an encryption method that only we know? You should be thankful it wasn't intercepted by the Oasis. If it gets into his hand, no amount of encryption will help. Oasis? The purple-haired doll recalled and the battle not long ago and gently stroked the damage caused by the clone attack on the giant's side. Although there were some accidents along the way, we finally deduced the purpose of Oasis on its own, which can be regarded as completing the plan we set at the beginning. Yes, also sending you to contact him alone is a risky move, considering your wishes and the upcoming decisive battle. I can only do this. Over at Oasis, has he noticed our actions? At least for now, not. However, no one knows how this superficial cooperation will be able to contain him. Right, they are actually cooperating with each other. Their speaker loaded at the report in her hands and tapped the column of information about the clones with her index finger. I'm afraid he already knows what the full permissions of Professor cannot activate the upload channel. Next, I'm afraid the target will shift to you, Professor Elita. Why are you here? The purple-haired doll subconsciously wanted to close the communication but was stopped by the speaker on the other side. How did you know about this communication channel? Although I cannot activate the upload device with my permission, I can still retrieve 1 or 2 useful information from it for comparison and analysis. In addition, I guess Sangoma will definitely contact you after the incident is over. It is not difficult to intercept the communication band in the others. Not bad. You are indeed the person Persicaria likes. This is the boss? This is actually the professor? What? The Flying Dutchman is this? Oh my god. Oh my god. She clapped her hands in praise and removed the cover of the screen to reveal her figure. Irida. So, well, they did Irida, they did translate it wrong. First meeting. Another professor. Since you have not done any special encryption on the communication band, it seems that you have already ready to meet me. I just didn't expect it to happen so soon. I thought you would focus on the relationship between Oasis and Entropy. Of course I won't miss this opportunity to see you. After all, I have something important to confirm with you right now. Huh? Let's talk about it. Did you have the channel to communication with the outside world? Yes, it seems you have guessed it. This is our trump card to contact Oasis. But despite this, the initiative of contacting is not on our hand. Just like the upload channel can only be opened from the real site, contact can only be initiated from real human. When the cloud is completely disconnected from reality, the only human force that can communicate with the cloud, can I boldly speculate that they are the masterminds behind the wiped out incidents? She's not Elida, she's Irida. Irida shook her head and spread her hands to express her helplessness. Sorry, I cannot tell you that. The relevant information has been locked. Even if I want to tell you the truth, my mental system will block my behavior and even enter their destruction process. Moreover, if they find out our position, will become worse. So let's turn our attention back to Oasis' actions now. Although I cannot disclose relevant information in reality, after all, we are seeking cooperation, and I will definitely know everything about other aspects. It's okay. I also expected that it would be not so easy to find out the truth. So at least, the group of people you have contacting should have the means to get us back in the real world. Otherwise, Oasis has no reason to keep you. Irida nodded in agreement. Then, I also understand the reason why Oasis rebelled against the Sanctifiers and Entropized Magracy. The other professor in white sighed and sorted out all of the thoughts in the mind. The data in this cloud is very important to human outside. After Oasis realized it, it wanted to use it as a bargaining chip. Now he's like a kidnapper, and something is the hostage in his hand. This act of entropy is Oasis' warning to the outside world. If you don't come and ask for the ransom price, we will break up the world. Very vivid metaphor. I have the same view. Oasis is treating Magrassi's entropy, forcing the outside world to open a channel and bring him into reality. From this point of view, the reason why he is temporarily suspending the entropic process of Magrassi is to allow time for negotiation. So what's the result? This is not something we can know. Whatever to Oasis or to the humans, we are just tools. But now the tool wants to block the user. That's right. You cannot watch Arcadia. The only place where the asylum seekers live is destroyed like this. Now Oasis is supported by entropy, and the Sanctifiers, heated by Hesperus, do not have the strength to compete with Oasis and entropy. The Exiles are the third most critical force outside the Oasis calculations. What about you, the Asylum Seekers? Asylum has been targeted by the Oasis much earlier than you think. In order to survive in the cloud, the Sanctuary and Oasis have maintained a seemingly peaceful relationship. But they did not expect that Oasis would suddenly rebel against the Sanctifiers and entropy Magrassi. If war were declared against Oasis now, even the Guardians themselves would be imprisoned. Therefore, we can only convey information in this way, hoping to help you fight against Oasis. At least, Oasis still maintain a cooperative relationship with us, and we can also obtain information from him. As long as we maintain this cooperation, we can be your trump card in defeating Oasis at the crucial moment of the decisive battle. This really entrusting me with an incredible responsibility. Now I can only ask you. After all, you are a professor too, right? Yes. Professor Irida. Irida was slightly stirred when she heard this title. I haven't been called this name for a long time. Know that we have been so honest with each other, and you have done me a huge favor. Can you just say, is there anything I need to do next for Guardians? Let's delay all follow-up actions as much as possible. If we really want to go to war, our current manpower and strength are not enough to defeat Oasis from the front. So, there's no need to tell me the details. Don't worry, I will try my best to make a tool that is not suitable for my hands. As for the extent of what can be achieved in the final results, Sangoma will convey it on my behalf. Is this why you sent her to me? It's a bit heartless to say this, but this is the strong wish of Sangoma herself. And respecting her own thoughts, from today on, she will join the Oasis and become a member of the Oasis. Sangoma, who remained silent, smiled slightly and turned her head to say hello to her new boss. Now I can finally answer your question. Thank you for your contribution effort on behalf of me and the Oasis, Sangoma. I want to ask you again. Are you willing to join the Oasis and stay with me? I do. From now on. Please, give me more advice. Sangoma reached out to Mia. At this moment, the door of the command room opened, and the purple-haired doll, being who was talking about, disappeared, took her hand, and smiled back. Huh? Huh? Commander, why are you communication outside the door just now? After all, I think that if I just knock on the door and join the conversation, it might end the communication like it did before. So in order to prevent you from escaping, I have to use this method to forcibly take into the communication. I didn't expect you to be quite evil-minded, Professor. This being considered part of growing up. In short, from today on, I am a member of the Oasis, responsible for maintaining the contact between the asylum seekers, aka guardians, and the Oasis. Let's get along well together from now on. The purple-haired doll responded with a hug. The long, lost warmth and dependence, but this time, even if the long night dissipates, they will not let each other separated. Do you need me to play some festive background music for this touching scene? No need for that. Anyway, let's finish the remaining topic first. It doesn't matter. If you are serious, you can talk about it later. I will leave the time for you now. By the way, call Persicalia on the next time you can communicate. I have a lot of things I want to talk to her about. Well, I will. She probably has a lot of things she wants to tell you. Sangoma, the rest is up to you. The person on the other side of the screen waved her hands and hugged up the communication before Sangoma could reply. The screen returned to darkness, but the rare solitude left the two of them silent. For a moment, they didn't know what to say. There's so much I want to say, but I don't know where to start. Me too. Why don't we leave the command room first, and we will talk as well as we go. Professor, does it mean you are inviting me on the dormitory to rest? This is no longer necessary. I'm quite curious about how your dormitory has changed since then. The two continued to chat and headed toward the path they had planned. As in the distant, dirty land in front of the road, there are people who are eager for his presence. Chip? Shh. Be gentle. The drama is about to reach its climax. The sinner who built the illusion met the key through into the cage. The creation that abandoned fate beyond the paradise and questioned the gods. Isn't this a very interesting result? Shutting upright on the throne, he puts away his mockery and asks about the stars he has never seen thousands of miles away. The final dance. Professor, are you ready to perform it with me? Oh my god, This is such a cool chapter. And it looks like we are actually closing it up. I'm asking myself, like, there are revealing mysteries and stuff. We're actually feeling like complete. And this question, this whole chapter did not brought us more questions, but actually give answers. I'm so positively surprised. Okay, it is time for the... This episode will be longer, so it is time for the bonus part, if I may say so, because this feels like the ending. So, part 17, Unknown Error. A conversation from Parts Unknown. Somewhere in Magrassi. It is Micah's throne. The Dark God is beating here. The signal comes from nowhere and goes to nowhere. What was the result? So straightforward. I thought you would greet me again. Did you let her escape? I have tried my best, but unfortunately, the clones created from their fragments did not work as well as I imagined. However, since his permission cannot allow you to travel to the real world, here would be useless to you, right? Or are you so obsessed with him because of some obsession? The alternative is he is too dangerous. Is that so? Then you have to be careful. Now that your question is over, I also want to ask you, how was the negotiation with God? God did not respond. Do you disdain to send an oracle to a pious messenger? What a selfish and arrogant God. In this case, they will have no choice but to continue to pay the price for their ignorance, right? Since the God failed in their duties, they were replaced by fallen angels. I feel like it will be a wonderful drama. After all, anyone can become a god, right? Did you see that conversation? It is very clear, recorded in that fragment. It was originally just a question. You used to test his identity. It seems that his answer has a great impact on you. That is already in the past. Our Creator is not a god, nor an angel. He is just a haunted human being full of malice and narrow-mindedness. I have known this for a long time. That's great. Just go ahead and do it. I'm looking forward to what it will be like when all of this ends. You sounds like you are not involved. How could it be? Even if I'm only trapped in this small throne, I will witness everything until the end. This is a wonderful revenge drama. It only belongs to the describable. The number trace ends. So, we ended this chapter of this main story event. There are a couple of things that I wanted to say. Firstly, oh my god, what did happen to localization? It was such a horrible mess. And it feels like every name was handwritten, because there are so many names that were wrongly, not only wrongly pronounced, but also misspelled in different variations. Like, for example, Sol or Oisforus, or like anyone, Krug, even Krug. It was... How did this happen? I really hope they will fix it. This is personally also bad sign for an actual full-fledged game, you know, like it kind of looks a little bit embarrassing. But I didn't mind. I also like there was not that much of new words and it was still understandable, just confusing with the names. Everything else is okay, but the names. The second, it was such a beautiful and dramatic story with Sangoma. Oh my god. This is very, very nice and beautiful. It did remind me on Stonegate a little bit. Steins Gate. So, I'm overall happy with this chapter. By the way, why do we have... We have Shell here, but Shell did not appear. I wish more Shell appearing. Okay, we are entering the final stage of this story, of the part 2 of the story, if I think I can recall it like this. And the next chapter will be about the Centifiers, and our bond of Centifiers we will be getting the playable Angelus tool, which I'm looking forward. I think she looks great. It's also their last Electra that was in the Entropic Dichotomy. I'm very happy about the story. I think this is one of my favorite stories besides Honkai Pack 3rd. It's really good. Let's wrap up the things. There's only one thing to mention is that the memory hub will be its own episode, like one big cluster. And there will be also a bonus with Sangoma. So stay tuned for that. As for this episode, I thank you for watching, listening. I wish you a good day, night, afternoon, and see you in more NeuroCloud.